Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? We are live. We are ready to rock and roll. Yes, we are. Oh, there's more rain on the way. There's rain on the way, guys. There is rain on the way. There's rain here already if you're just tuning in for this sprint race, guys. If you're just tuning in, we expected rain was going to arrive tomorrow, but no, it's already here for this sprint race. And well, and interestingly, there's I tell you what, let's change. The drivers are doing their sighting laps right now, and I'm seeing yellow flags thrown. Here we are, drivers on their sighting laps, guys, on their way round to their pit box. And, well, we have double yellow flags being thrown down the back straight there, I guess, or the back section between turns 10 and turn 11. So do not fear if you're just tuning in. The race has not got underway yet. However, it is raining. That is the news right now. And, well, a yellow flag is being waved. Slippery. No bleep, Sherlock. No bleep, but it's slippery out there at the moment, guys. So, yes, this is just drivers, as they do at every single race. As Charles Leclerc has got an issue. I think Charles Leclerc's gone off. Oh, my goodness, Charles Leclerc, if you're just tuning in, has hit the wall or on his outlap. Charles Leclerc has hit drama afoot before the race has even begun. Charles Leclerc's right-hand suspension, the right rear, is in. He's hit the wall, the front wing is damaged, and that is why we have Charles Leclerc stopped out on track right now, guys. Oh my goodness, what a way for this session to start, and the race hasn't even begun yet. Charles Leclerc is out of this sprint race. Charles Leclerc is out. The right rear is hanging off. He's hit the wall really hard. Still yet to see an actual replay of it. And yes, it is raining heavily out there at the Miami Grand Prix circuit right now. And yes, if you're just tuning in, guys, Charles Leclerc is out of this sprint race as he has hit the barriers. He has hit the wall out on his outlap. Oh my goodness. He's pulled a Lance Stroll. Charles Leclerc has pulled a Lance Stroll. So I'm watching the replay of what Charles has done. And I think he's just aquaplaned. He's just aquaplaned. Oh my goodness. He's just gone straight. He's just gone straight on. He's just gone straight on. This is full wets. I don't know why he's on the intermediates. Correct. He went out on the intermediates on his outlap, and I tell you what, he's just got enough. He just hasn't got enough tread on his tyre, and he's gone straight into the wall as he's turning through turn 10. He's just gone straight. He's turned left and the car's not done anything. So early drama here, guys, if you're just tuning in. Thank God we did go live half an hour before the race begins. This is why it's important for us to go live when we did and why I check out these sighting laps, especially when there is wet conditions, because we see moments like this. So yes, it is definitely wet conditions out there. I'll tell you what, this is going to be, at its current condition, it's going to be... Oh my goodness, as it's currently looking, it's going to be a delayed start, guys. I think this 25 minutes to the race begins is going to be postponed. So, as Hamilton is saying, I don't know how you put us... Oh my goodness, Ferrari before the race has even begun. Hamilton on the radio has said to them, I don't know how you have put us out on Inters here, guys. Lewis on the radio, Ferrari before the race even started. Oh my God. Will Leclerc be allowed to fix the car? No, not from where he's crashed. No. As I'm watching an onboard of Ollie Bearman now, he's on the wets. And I tell you what, Ollie Bearman couldn't even get the car stopped. And he's on wets. Yeah, that's what I just watched, Sacco. There's no. The problem here is at this circuit at Miami is that it's so fresh. It's a track surface that is just so fresh, and well, the water just sits on top of it. There's nowhere for it to go. Yuki Tsunoda starting from the pit lane. But yes, if you are just joining, ladies and gentlemen, Charles Leclerc has crashed on his outlap. It is raining heavily at the Miami Grand Prix, at the Miami circuit. We predicted it would be raining tomorrow, and it's come in early. And, well, it is treacherous conditions out there. Ferrari put their drivers out on intermediates to make their way round to their grid spots, as you can see on the track map right now. And, well, Charles Leclerc has aquaplaned straight into the barriers at turn 10. He stopped the car at turn 14 there in the chicane. And, well, Lewis Hamilton complaining on the radio that his car, or complaining, why did they go onto the intermediate tyres when others are on wets? And Ferrari have Ferrari'd before the race has even begun. Charles Leclerc is out of this sprint race, guys. That is breaking news right now. Doubt the car will be ready for race quality. Yeah, no chance. Because of where he is. But it's either going to be a start under the safety car, but I think as the current conditions are, with it raining as hard as it is, I think this is going to be a postponed start. It wouldn't surprise me if this is maybe up to an hour's delay right now. So, Leclerc is out of this sprint race. There is no way that he is going to be starting right now. Unbelievable. They're reviewing his moments through... It's definitely going to be a delayed start, Khalida. Anyone who's watched F1 in the rain before knows that they are super, super cautious because of mainly visibility concerns, and I totally see why. But we've just seen Charles Leclerc aquaplane when he should have had the downforce to be able to make it round turn 10, and he didn't. So, yeah. Can they change tyres now? They can change tyres. They'll be starting on the wets for sure, but it's not even... It's the visibility concerns. That's the problem. With how large these cars are, with how quick they are, especially with, of course, the ground effect era as well. The amount of spray that's displayed off of these cars is just too large. And that's normally... It's not because drivers can't race in these conditions. It's because drivers can't see in these conditions. But at the moment... I don't think drivers can even race in these conditions because this is a temporary race circuit as well, the Miami Grand Prix. It's not raced on year out, I believe. So that makes it extra slippery when we have wet weather conditions like this as well. It's a very green circuit. So that just adds to the concerns of safety. Yuki, after a lap, wants a more pointy car, and after Justin gets last out of the paddock, he missed the final qualifying lap and car by the paddock and passing cars by. Yeah, well, interestingly enough, looking back at it yesterday, Yuki Tsunoda actually let he actually slowed down considerably to let Max Verstappen pass, and that ended up being his downfall, and him not being able to make it onto across the start-finish line. But this could be a very chaotic sprint race here, guys. A very chaotic sprint race. Of course, if you crash, how that can affect you in your qualifying later on today as well. Of course, there's like 3.5 hours, I believe, until qualifying gets underway. So there's not too long for Ferrari to get that car back in shape. And any of those teams as well, if they bin it. And in the sprint race... There's only There's only 8-point scoring positions on offer. So for a lot of these drivers, they don't want to overly risk it out there. How have long-term Ferrari fans coped for the past 18 years? Do you know what? I was this close to putting on my Ferrari top today for this session. I thought, no, I'll save it for qualifying. I mean, would it have helped? I don't know. But yes, guys, if you're just tuning in, it is raining heavily at the Miami Grand Prix. I have people who are actually at trackside, and I have videos that it is still raining heavily. Charles Leclerc on his outlap has crashed. He is not starting this sprint race. He is out before it has even begun. Lewis Hamilton on the radio, not happy that Ferrari put them on the intermediate tyres when they were on their outlap. Other drivers on the wets and still having issues. And, well, Charles Leclerc has suffered because of that and aquaplaned in that very sector there where you can see it is highlighted. He went through turn 10, if it can be even considered to be a corner, and he just went straight on into the barrier. Nothing that he could do. So Is it like Spa 2021 where? Yeah. Pretty much, I'd say so at the moment, yeah. Morning, Alan. Good to see you. Morning, guys, though. Hope you're doing well if you're just tuning in. So, yes, very early drama here as Charles Leclerc has been noted for driving the car in an unsafe condition. That's very harsh if he ends up being penalised for that. I mean, he's been penalised enough already. I'm not sure. I currently have I need to change my settings for the F1 fantasy team. I think while we're at it, I think I have F1 Limitless on this weekend, so I think I need to change Charles Leclerc because I think I had him as one of my drivers. But regarding strategy today, I'll tell you what, strategy's out of the window. It's going to be a wet weather race. It's, of course, we've got 18 minutes until the race is supposedly going to begin, but I don't think that is going to happen. I think with it currently still raining, that's the problem here right now, is that it is still raining, so there's no way for the drivers to get out there and displace a sufficient amount of water to dry up the track. At the moment, yeah, it's looking like it is going to be a postponement. We will keep you updated of when that will be. That will be updated as well up here. Sorry, why am I pointing like that? Up here in the race control messages. That will keep us informed. So, why did something go wrong there? Something wrong with my login. That's a shame. Will he take the start? No. Charles Leclerc will not take the start. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pin a message. Charles Leclerc. After crashing on his... Oh my God. Charles Leclerc hit the barrier and part of his front wing landed on the bridge, on the pedestrian bridge. It flew up. Oh my goodness, the stewards have, that's apparently what stewards have noted. So, okay, so they've got the, okay, so it does look like the rain is dying, but there is potentially more rain on the way. They're showing the weather radar right now, and the weather radar is indicating that more rain is on its way. But at the moment, brollies are down, umbrellas, for those of you international viewers. The brollies are down, and that potentially does leave us a window currently for this race to get underway. But if it starts raining again between now and the start of the race, when it's supposed to, I presume that will be a postponement. So the aquaplane doesn't let the car turn. No, it didn't. No, it didn't at all. So, woo, they will have a parade. Yeah, they'll probably potentially plod around. I mean, they won't want to plod around because a sprint race is already short enough anyway. They won't want to make the sprint race even shorter. But yes, Leclerc is out of the race, guys. Leclerc is out of the race. We're going to keep it on this scene, I think, because there's no reason to change. But oh my God, I can't believe I started to see yellows thrown and I changed scene and confirmed Charles Leclerc was out. So it would be a miracle if it starts in 17 minutes. Yes, I think looking at the weather radar with it more on the way, I think they will postpone this at least half an hour. I think so. I think that's highly likely. He broke the suspension and the front wing, Katie. So the right rear was basically gone. And so was his front wing. So, right, I need to try and change my fantasy team. Sorry, guys, while I do this. Trying to change the fantasy team because still got up until the race begins. Just FYI, if you're wanting to do so. Because I think I've got this limitless, which allows me to make any changes. Yes, Charles Leclerc out. Thank you very much. Get out. Let's put Kimi in. And let's add Mercedes as well. There we go. I had Charles Leclerc in the team. Let's swap him out. And I had Ferrari in there, Red Bull in there. After Yuki qualifying in P20, let's remove him and let's put Mercedes in there with George Russell and Antonelli on P1. So, yeah. Fantastic, a wet race, let it start. Well, we did say that I did predict in our preview, if you missed the preview stream, guys, is on Thursday. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to not miss out on those any further, and notifications as well. But I predicted in the preview that we personally, oh my goodness, risk of rain is 70%, guys. That was not what we saw as a percentage on Thursday. We saw it at under 20% possibility. That is how quickly it has changed here at Miami for rain today. And of course, that will potentially affect qualifying later on as well. So we could have a wet quali. As brilliant as Charles is, he is prone from these things time to time. He was the first. I think he is worth a little bit of slack because he was the first driver out there. And that car, that's not something at an area where you expect the car to just go straight on. Like, it was pure aquaplaning. So, yeah. Seems other teams' race strategists owe Charles a thank you. Got their answer about track conditions and tyres without risking their own cars. Exactly. Exactly, Kralida. He was the first driver out there. So, risk of rain while it's currently raining. You don't say. I mean, as I'm looking at it right now on the TV coverage, the umbrellas are down. It is still warm-ish out there. Track temperature is nearly 30 degrees. Air temperature 22.9 degrees. But it is predicted more is predicted to be on its way at looking at the weather radar. You hate racing in the rain. There's no escape. Get rid of them. Just proper racetracks. What a joke. And hi all. Hey Antonio. It's tricky. I think rain. It's a tricky one. I think Miami, we've never had a rain race at Miami, have we? Now, I think as long as it doesn't dry out fully and we get to the point of where there's like a crossover, we already have cars that are difficult enough to overtake because of the dirty air. Whereas in the rain, that should be, as it's called, the great leveler. It should provide us, hopefully, in a sprint race, definitely, more opportunities to overtake because you have more it's more reliant on the driver, the confidence of the driver, and where they decide to find the grip. And I think that will provide us. I don't think we'll see enough of a dry line form so early in a race. It's like we did at Melbourne, where it just becomes impossible to overtake. I mean, it's a tricky track to overtake at the best of times, Melbourne, anyway, because there's not a lot of hard braking zones. But I think Miami, hopefully in wet weather conditions, will provide us more overtaking opportunities in wet weather conditions, more so than what we saw at Melbourne on merit alone, rather than just like the carnage. But I'm sure there'll be offs and there'll be mistakes here because of how slippery this surface is anyway. So, hey Jeff, how's the happy princess? How is she? Yeah, she's doing very well. She's currently having dinner right now. So, should you keep doing your work or play Assetto Corsa stuff? I would say just keep me on in the background. I'll keep you guys updated on when there are any updates on when this race is going to get underway. As it currently stands, the race is starting in just under 11 minutes at the top of your screen there, the timer. That is what we've had informed to us. The weather seems to be holding off for now. Will that be the case? Who knows? Who knows? But yes, I did see the onboard of Charles Leclerc. He just had no control. He started turning left and the car just went straight. Never a good feeling. F1 Academy qualifying didn't have much of rain, just a little sprinkle. Yeah, well, it's stopped raining right now. So in this current state, we will get the race underway. But other than that, hey Nate, first time tuning in. How do I get the live timing to match sync with other players like international feed? So I'm purely just watching the race through the live data and the track map. I have my TV coverage on my phone, which is on a delay. But I like that it's on a delay and it's behind the live data in front of me, because I can use the TV coverage as a replay tool to inform you guys of what has just happened. But there is on Multiviewer, there is an ability to add a live delay at the bottom. So you can do that to try and sync it up. And yeah, it's the best way to do it. Those Ferraris are running too low. They aquaplaned on the belly. I mean, a lot of the drivers are. This is the thing about the sprint race, guys. So a bit of information for you. You may be wondering, how did Mercedes get on pole position yesterday? Well, it was a great lap from Kimi Antonelli. Of course it was, and not to take anything away from him. But it's similar to what we saw in China, where because it is a sprint race and because teams, of course, are locked in for their setup, they can't change their setup once they start the qualifying for the sprint. Because they're running less fuel, because it's a shorter race distance on the sprint, they're able to run the cars lower. So they're able to run the cars considerably lower in qualifying, which means we see teams get more performance, more than they would do for the main qualifying for the race, because they have to raise that ride height to accommodate for that 100 kilograms of fuel that is eventually going to go in the car for the start of the race on Sunday. Whereas because they're only putting in 30 kilograms, I think it is, it's like a third of the race distance, they're able to run that car a lot lower. And that's what happened with Lewis Hamilton in China, and why there were differences from his performance from the sprint quali and the sprint race to then the quali for the race on Sunday. That Ferrari had to have its ride height raised slightly. Of course, it wasn't enough because he still got disqualified in the end, and that's what's happened with Mercedes here as well. That was why Alex Albon yesterday commented, surely that Mercedes isn't legal, because there were a lot of sparks being thrown up by that Mercedes, and it looked really planted. Of course, Kimi Antonelli as well, unlike George, didn't go out first. He went out last. He was the third last driver to cross the finish line, and he benefited from that Trek evolution that we said was so key. So that is why it may be completely different again qualifying this afternoon. Let's say it's dry conditions, but even in wet conditions it will be, because of those setup parameters that they have to make to accommodate for that additional fuel. Do sighting laps happen every race? Yep, sighting laps happen every race. So when you've turned on the TV and you tune in maybe a bit early, normally in dry conditions they'll go round a good 2 or 3 times before they make their way round to their pit box. But in these wet weather conditions, and because of Charles Leclerc as well crashing, that has limited everyone's sighting laps to pretty much 1 lap. They probably would have liked to have done a couple more, but because of Charles crashing there, they've gone, nah, just doing, I'm 1 and out. I'm 1 and out. The start reaction time for the top 4 will decide the race. I disagree. I think it might not. I mean, of course, it will have a big bearing on how the race plays out. But I think with these weather conditions, there could be more. There could be more from it. We could actually see overtakes here for the lead today. Didn't get any notification from YouTube today. Oh, unbelievable. Well, you're here now, just in time for the race to hopefully get underway. Because, yes, if you are tuning in, guys, over 1,500 of you here right now. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Hit that like and subscribe. And let's get to 1,000 likes, can we? For the first stream of today, because we still have qualifying for the main race coming later on. But if you're just tuning in, it is wet at Miami. That is the conditions right now. It is not raining at this moment in time. And, well, what that means is that Charles Leclerc, you can see his icon there. He is not starting this race because he crashed. He aquaplaned down through turn 10. The car just went straight when he wanted to go left, and he crashed that Ferrari. So yes, Charles Leclerc out of this race before it even began. Let it rain. Only Max knows how to race on wet tarmac. I mean, don't rule out Piastri and Norris. Don't rule out Kimi. Kimi Antonelli finished 4th in Melbourne, FYI. So Kimi Antonelli is a driver who is also very adept already at racing in wet weather conditions. If you watched his Formula 2 race, his first race win at Silverstone, where he led from start to finish and had to deal with a couple of safety car restarts, he very much so controlled that race beautifully. And of course, Melbourne, his first ever race in those treacherous conditions, he handled that race very well. Of course, starting on pole position though is very different and a different sort of pressure than it is starting from 16th and trying to recover the race. But still, formation lap will be started behind the safety car. Okay. So the race is going to get underway by the looks of things. Good. Got my caffeine boost. Let's go. Why is Leclerc still in the wall? It's just showcasing that he's there. I'm sure it will disappear once they start the formation lap. So, let's get this race going. Yeah, looks to be that there's going to be no delays as it currently stands. It is dry, but I think we're definitely going to see something happen in this sprint race. I think it's going to be action-packed. Maybe for good reasons, maybe for bad reasons, but I think we're going to see the safety car, definitely. I think we're going to see someone lose control of the car. We are expecting more rain throughout the duration of this sprint race as well, so that could throw, no doubt, a spanner in the works, and why I think it could get a little bit messy here. And of course, for a lot of these drivers, they just want to gather data here. They won't want to get down and dirty and get racing, because ultimately there's only 8-point scoring positions on offer in the sprint race. So for 12 of these drivers, okay, not 12 of them, but for, let's say, 10 of these drivers, they're not fighting for anything worthwhile. Of course, Hadjar is now going to be promoted up into 8th place, as will Alonso. They will be moved up a position, but there's only a couple of drivers who'll be worth fighting for that point, that last point scoring position. I do presume that Charles Leclerc, not everyone will be moved up a starting grid spot position. They will start from their grid spots, so there will just be an empty space ahead of who is it? Isaac Hadjar. Sorry, there'll be an empty grid spot ahead of Alex Albon, so he'll have some fresh air to head into. Hopefully he doesn't make the mistake of heading into that grid spot and picking up an unfortunate time penalty, because sometimes drivers can get that mixed up. Is it going to rain on race day? Well, that was what we was predicting, is that it was going to be rain tomorrow, not today. That's not when we was expecting the rain, so... currently not raining, guys. It's not currently raining at the moment. There is a break in the weather, but the weather radar does forecast more rain is on its way. Won't it be a rolling single file start, though? It may be. So here we are. Carlos Sainz is the only driver to start on the wet weather tyre. We have drivers on the intermediate. So Carlos Sainz could have played a blinder here, because if there is more rain on the way, Carlos Sainz could be the only driver out there who has that additional grip available to him, while everyone else has to potentially make a pit stop. I think that's worth the decision for Williams to put him on the wets, because he's down in 15th. As I mentioned, he has 7 positions ahead of him before he even scores a single point in this sprint race. So why not gamble on the wet weather tyre and see if you benefit from that rain that is potentially on its way, guys. Can rain basically any time during the midday in Florida in spring summer? Exactly, and when you're so close to the coast as well. I know Miami isn't like this, isn't on the coast, but Miami itself is like a coastal city, isn't it? There is the weather conditions can change on a dime, can't they? They can change so quickly. So that's obviously what we've seen here today. Nothing to lose, exactly. So let's have a look at the poll for this race. And, well, who will win the sprint race? Over 1,100 votes. I'm going to end that now because we have 55 seconds until the formation lap, which is starting under the safety car, gets underway. And, well, 36% of you just think Oscar Piastri is going to win this race. Antonelli, 33%. Verstappen, 19%. And Norris, 10%. And, well, it was interesting. Oscar Piastri did have a lock-up into the last corner. Turn 17 is pretty much the last corner here because 18 and 19 are flat. He did have a slight lock-up into turn 17, which ultimately cost him that half a tenth that was essential. Maybe even more than that, actually. It cost him a considerable amount of time, which cost him pole position. So, yeah, pace in Oscar Piastri. Feels good to have a race where it's more manageable time where you live. Probably can't say the same for me. It's a manageable time. It's nice, this one. It's it's late afternoon here in the UK, and then the qualifying is like mid-evening time. It's nice. It's better than mid-morning. Or very early morning. But here we go, guys. Here we go. Formation lap should be getting underway any moment now. Are they getting underway? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Here we go. Here we go. Surprised that it isn't delayed. I think they would have delayed this race if we had more rain. If it was still raining, they probably would have delayed it. But with it dry, I say dry, with it not raining at the moment, it's spitting. From what I can see on the TV coverage, it's a slight drizzle at the moment. That is sufficient for these drivers to go round and displace all of this water. But it's going to be a very interesting race start, to say the least. We could be under the safety car for a couple of laps here. Hopefully not, because there is only 19 laps in this sprint race. But it could be that we're under the safety car for a couple of laps to try and disperse some of that water. So yeah, we'll see how everything gets on. Here in Singapore, you have to wake up at 4 a.m. for quali. Oof, we appreciate your committance to this sport and this stream, Raven. Good to see you guys. Yuki is starting in the pit lane because he's made some setup changes to the car. So, might as well. He was starting down in the bottom 5 anyway. So you might as well make some changes. So yes, if you're just tuning in, guys, Charles Leclerc, the breaking news was that Charles Leclerc, he is a wet weather racer, as you can see from all the intermediate tyres, and the sole driver in Carlos Sainz on the wet weather compound tyre. Charles Leclerc, when it was in treacherous conditions, crashed into the wall at turn 10. The car just went straight on as his icon has now disappeared from the track. There is a reason why his tyre icon is blanked out. He is out of this race. He crashed, broke his front wing, broke his right rear suspension, and yes, that was breaking news and the big news at the start of this sprint race on his sighting lap. So not good for Ferrari and of course for Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton, the sole Ferrari driver out there. How will they fare? Of course, wet weather conditions here at the moment. It is looking like, how much spray is there? It looks like there is quite a lot of spray out there. There is quite a lot of spray out there. But it does look like I think we are going to be going racing. So, let's pause the music and let's get ready. Let's hope we go racing. We will see as Antonelli, does he start across the line? Are they going to continue going, or is Antonelli going to line up in his grid box? No, they're going to keep going. Okay, so they're going to keep going. This is a real shame. So the race is not underway yet, guys. The race is not underway. It is still just safety car conditions. We have no indication yet that this race will be getting underway. I do presume that... I'm surprised that says we're not on lap 2. As Piastri is stating, visibility even in P2 is terrible, and a big river in turn 10, which is the exact corner where Charles Leclerc went off and aquaplaned straight into the barriers. So they're probably going to do a few more sighting laps here under the safety car to try and disperse some of this water before they get racing, which is a real shame. It's a real shame, but I understand it. That's the real concerns here. Is not so much the driving conditions, but the visibility conditions. Drivers struggling as Max Verstappen found himself out of position there. What happened with Max Verstappen? You can see there, Max Verstappen just had to get back past Hamilton and George Russell as Max Verstappen, I think, locked up into turn 17. Max Verstappen massively locked up and went straight on at turn 17, which is why he just had to regain a couple of positions there. So yeah, I mean, I say driving conditions aren't an issue. Clearly it is still at the moment, but starting procedure has been suspended, as you can see. I wonder if they've informed the drivers to add any additional fuel in the car. We'll see. It's a red flag. It's a red flag. There we go. There we go. It's a red flag. As Antonelli is reporting, I can't see anything behind the safety car. Oh dear, dearie me, guys. So yes, it makes sense to quickly red flag this because it is a sprint race. We don't want them toodling behind the safety car for 5-6 laps, do we? With and us losing crucial racing time here. So. I will update the time. We will get an update on when potentially this session is going to get back underway, but I assume they're going to inform us of that. But interesting. Multiple drivers reporting lack of visibility in heavy water on track wouldn't risk race quality for a sprint. No, and I think this is it. The issue is, so they're going even into the pit lane. They're not even going out onto their grid slots. That's interesting. But at the moment, it is a red flag. Not what we want. it's the problem is that primarily it's visibility. That's why we've seen such little kind of wet weather racing in this current reg in this current set of regulations, is because they just throw off so much spray and they just can't see. So yeah. If the session's delayed, will Charles get to run? No, don't think so. I mean, unless they're able to magically get the car back to the pit lane and fix it. But no, I think technically they've had a start procedure. As I'm watching Lewis Hamilton's onboard, and he's twitching at the wheel, of course, with the lack of grip that is out there at the moment. So you're new to F1. Can't they just postpone it if it's really heavy rain? And that's exactly what they've done. That's what the red flag means, Dan. So the red flag is, I mean, it's just been removed, but the red flag means that the race has stopped, or the session has stopped, which is why they've all made their way to the pit lane. It does say track clear right now. They're all back in the pit lane, but we will see, of course, the FIA will be reassessing the conditions of the track, and I guess they've got enough time to do the sprint race. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of these drivers, they probably just want to get this over and done with and not even participate, because there's only 8 positions on offer which can score points. But yeah. When will the race start, or will the sprint gets cancelled? That is the main question. So if you keep an eye at the top of your screen there, guys, where you can see the notification of track clear and where it's that the flags are coming through, that is where it will indicate to us when the session is estimated to get back underway again. And I will update the timer, which is currently on screen and showing 0. I will update the timer accordingly once we know when that time is. So you'll have that countdown. But yeah, clearly they're all reporting that there's a heavy. As Max is reporting, can we change the headrest again? So lots of drivers not happy. Grant Stroll just said, can we change my visor? I'm not happy with my visor. So yeah, drivers are allowed to get out of the car if they wish to. They're all in the pit lane at the moment. And yeah. It's the visibility that is the main issue that I'm hearing on the TV coverage right now, as I expected. As there's images of Charles Leclerc on the pit wall there, not too happy, in discussion with Fred Vasseur. What happened to the spray guard innovation? It failed. The problem is that because we're in the ground effect era, the amount of downforce that is generated through, of course, the underside of the car means that there's more spray that is displaced by these cars, and from it's not the tyres that are particularly the main issue. They're the quickest they've ever been. They're the largest they've ever been. They're the heaviest they've ever been. That just adds to the equation that more spray is going to be put off these cars. So until we move back to cars which are smaller and lighter, we are not going to get. We're going to get issues like this where the drivers are complaining of visibility, and look, ultimately, we don't want them crashing where they can't see each other, can we? So, as I'm watching footage of Lewis Hamilton's onboard right now, and Lewis Hamilton's visibility isn't great as we're watching there through the spray. So they're just showcasing the onboard of Lewis Hamilton. As an F1 fan, I hope it runs, but as a Ferrari fan, I hope the session gets suspended. How much time to the race start? We don't know yet. I will update accordingly. Keep an eye at the top of your screens, guys. Up here, this box that is next to, above the track map, will update itself. There will be a notification that tells us when they are estimated to go back out there. What I predict will be the procedure, as we have seen many a time in F1, is that the safety car and the medical car will go out there to do laps and see how the track is faring, and of course to try and displace a bit of water. But there is more rain on the way, apparently. So, but hopefully we do get to see some racing here. But how long that'll be, we don't know. Wet tyres weren't supposed to remove spray; they are for grip. Yes, yeah, that's kind of like the offset of it, isn't it? Is wet tyres is that they do displace a considerable amount of water, but with the lack of visibility, yeah, the drivers. And the thing is as well is that they're all set up to have X amount of fuel. So, I mean, look, you can see there the sprint race duration has already been reduced to 18 laps. And we're going to see that reduced another lap as well, because we'll have the formation lap unless the teams are allowed to stick an extra lap of fuel in the car. So yeah, this sprint race has already got shorter, and we don't want it to get any shorter than it currently is, do we really? Did they run safety car before they let the driver out when they got on the grid when Leclerc crashed? I presume they did. Yeah, I presume they had some safety cars out. They had the safety car do some laps out there. So, but the race, we don't know yet, guys. We don't know when this race is going to get back underway. Drivers are out of their cars. They are in the pit lane, helmets off. No one knows at the moment. So, yeah, it is still drizzling out there at Miami at the moment. It's not heavy, but they're probably just waiting for. I mean, the track temperature has increased. It's now up to 32.1 where it was 29 when we started this stream. So that will help with the dissipation of water from the circuit. But I imagine the safety car and medical car will be sent out there to do a lot of laps for a while, for a good while. Can drivers vote to cancel the race? They can have discussions, I think, if they have serious concerns, yes. But it hasn't really ever happened, I don't think. Not since back in the day. He's talking like Niki Lauda times and stuff. I don't think there's ever really been a point where the drivers have sat the FIA down and gone that we're not racing. There was, of course, the concerns, the safety concerns in Saudi a few years ago, of course, when there was a missile strike on a nearby oil refinery. But other than that, I think for weather conditions, I'm just looking at the weather radar at the moment. It does look like more rain is potentially on its way. Will it just be a delay, or will it be cancelled? They will want to try and get this started as much as possible, but they also won't want to ruin qualifying later on. So F1 will take priority, of course. I don't think is the F1 Academy racing later on. Is F1 Academy racing later on? I don't think if it is, I imagine that'll be moved back as potentially qualifying will as well. Welcome everyone though. Welcome for everyone who's just tuning in. Yeah, 3,500 of you in the stream right now. If you could hit the like button, we are trying to obviously bring this information to you. So if you're just tuning in, what has happened? Well, the race has been postponed. It is very wet out there on the Miami circuit at the moment. We weren't predicting rain today, but it has arrived. Well, what we saw is that Charles Leclerc aquaplaned on his sighting lap around to his grid box, his starting position. He aquaplaned through turn 10 and crashed his Ferrari. So he is out of this sprint race. We then saw the drivers do one lap under the safety car, the formation lap under the safety car, and well, they were just complaining about visibility, the driving conditions, still a bit of aquaplaning out there, and they have postponed the race start at the moment, and it is reduced down from 19 laps to 18 until they can reassess the track conditions. So yeah, we already have a short enough race as it is in the sprint race, so they don't want it to be shorter than it needs to be. But yes, Leclerc is out, guys. Leclerc is out. So that is the breaking news. At the moment, we do not know when the race is going to get back underway again. Drivers are out of their cars. They're in their pit boxes, helmets off, and they are waiting patiently for an update from the FIA. And looking at the TV coverage right now, there are some umbrellas up. There is a slight drizzle out there at the moment, and that will not help, of course, with the track conditions. But no doubt the safety car and the medical car will be deployed. I'm surprised that they're not running out there at the moment, the safety car and medical car, to try and displace some of the water. Did they resurface this track last year? I don't know about the... I don't know what happens with Miami, because isn't it a temporary race circuit? Does it get relayed every year? Maybe someone can inform me of that. Does it get relayed every year, or does it, or is it only part of it that gets relayed? Because I know they use, is it the back straight is like street circuit element, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure. How many laps do I think Kimi will keep his position? I mean, we were stating earlier on, if you haven't tuned in yet, Kimi is a very good driver in the rain. We've already seen that showcased in the first race of this year in Melbourne. He went from 16th to 4th. Yes, he benefited from strategy call and that kind of downpour, that late downpour that caught so many out. They've got road sweepers out there at the moment, guys. That's why the safety car isn't out there. We have road sweepers out there to try and displace the water. As there's a double yellow in turn 17. So, it seems to be quite a lot of water down in turn 17. That's why we're seeing double yellows. So, they are out there working to clear the track at the moment. And once we know when this race gets underway, is estimated to get underway again, we'll update the timer at the top of your screen there. I thought the first time they raced there, it was a disaster, so they resurfaced the circuit, if memory is correct. You think they resurfaced in 2023? Okay. Well, it's still relatively a new circuit anyway, isn't it? So that's not going to help with the levels of grip that we have here. Hey, Gabriel. Yeah, it's wet. Basically, what's happening is that it's wet. And they've postponed the race start. We're waiting for an update on when the race start is going to get back underway. Yeah. They have road sweepers out there at the moment trying to clear the track. And that's it. Charles has crashed on his outlap. That's why we have a postponement at the moment. Oh, there we go. Sprint will start at 25 minutes past the hour. So under 10 minutes, guys. Under 10 minutes. There we go. That is our update. Let me update it for you guys. There we go. There we go. You got enough time to make yourself a brew. Go to the loo. Thankfully, they're going to be getting underway. Hopefully, the rain holds off enough for now. Right, let me just update this for you guys. So that will be 25 minutes past the hour, won't it? So happy days, happy days. There we go. There we go. 7.5 minutes, basically, until the sprint race gets back underway. So, yes. Can someone say hi? Of course, Aaron. Good. Welcome, welcome. If you look at the left window, you will see the subscribe button. Yes, guys, thank you to everyone who keeps tuning into these live streams and these watch-alongs. We'll be back, of course, for qualifying later on as well. That'll be an interesting one, won't it? If weather conditions stay similar to this. If you can hit that like and subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated. Trying to hit 45,000 subs. Big thank you. And as always, you can join as a member and support this channel even further. So big thank you, guys. What team do I support? I don't really support teams. I think we've discussed this on the channel before. I feel like I support drivers more so than the teams. However, I do want teams to do... I want some teams to do well. Oh no, correction. The sprint will start at 12:28. Oh my goodness, I have to update it again. I have to update it again. My goodness, they've just pushed it back a few minutes. Don't do this to us. So it's updated itself again. Is that going to be a common theme? Are they going to keep pushing that back? So that's just under 9. That's just under 10 minutes now. There you go. That's an update right there for you guys. Just under 10 minutes now. Do I think Hamilton's getting old and he's reaching his old level of performance? Well, yes, he is getting old for sure. he's 40 years old now, but yeah, he's definitely not at his peak for sure, and yeah, maybe that is affecting his adaptability to Ferrari. But I still think he's got it. The sprint race showcase that he's still got it, but it's just it's difficult to adapt to a car when you've been driving a different engine and a different car and a different just everything. I always said going to Ferrari was going to be a big leap for him this year. Different language, different terminology. And he's clearly finding that quite a hurdle to leap this year. So, what race would I go to if I could ever go to a race? I mean, it'd be my home circuit, Silverstone. Love to go to that. Never have done, but I'd love to. Everyone keeps doing this. They keep updating periodically instead of saying they'll start after 30 minutes or so because they want the viewers to stay on. Yes, true. True. Hopefully this is it. It is, like, I'm looking at TV coverage, guys, and it is overcast. Drivers are getting their helmets back on. So they are getting their gear back on and they're hopping back into the car. So it does look like that this, hopefully, is it. And we will get back racing again. There aren't any brollies up at the moment. So we do seem to have a break in the weather. Still think it's going to rain once this race is eventually underway, but we'll see. Which track would I delete, Jacob? Oh, there's a couple I'd delete. I personally would delete the Mexico Grand Prix. Or can I delete Abu Dhabi? Can I actually delete Abu Dhabi? I really don't like Abu Dhabi. I feel like it has never provided us from a pure racing perspective, ignore 2021, a pure racing perspective, have we ever had a good race in Abu Dhabi? I don't. Give me Interlagos. Put Interlagos back as the season finale. Come on. It's a travesty that a dull track like Abu Dhabi is the last race of the year. But it's money. Of course it's money. I know everyone will say Monaco. I know they will. But I get why Monaco is there, because it's a very unique track in itself. The problem is that Monaco is not alone now in being so unique where we don't see overtaking. That's the problem. We have Imola. We have Mexico. I'd like to see Mexico go as well. I'm not enamoured that that's been renewed for a few years, which pretty much indicates to me that Sergio Perez is signing for Cadillac. But yeah, 2010, but that was only because of Alonso head loss trying to pass Petrov. Yeah, I mean, but other than that, I mean, actual racing itself, Andy, like Abu Dhabi's boring, isn't it? To be honest with you. So, Imola, Mexico to disappear. Yeah, well, Imola is disappearing, isn't it? I think Imola is disappearing. So, how do I think Max is going to mellow down now that he's a dad? Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Who knows? Being a dad does change you. Well, in my aspect, positively, it has changed me for the better, and for many others, it will say it has. It's not always the case for everyone, though. So, you're gonna make the executive decision to keep Monaco. Yeah, so the problem is with Monaco is that we know that you can't overtake there, but it's very tricky to overtake. Hence, why we now have the 2 mandatory pit stop being added this year. But it's the fact of that it isn't. It used to be unique in itself, but it was just all about the Saturday, and things could still go awry on the Sunday. But now, there's 5, 6, 7 other tracks that are like Monaco. That's the problem. It's not special anymore, other than like the event around itself. So that's why the special nature of Monaco has disappeared from the fans' viewpoint. So I can see a case for Monaco staying. I can see a case for it being removed. I think we have enough races on the calendar for a race like Monaco to stay. But we need to switch out a number of these tracks where we know it's already super difficult to overtake on. And then Monaco becomes bigger again. But Monaco will never disappear because of the amount of money that surrounds it. The race itself, the amount of business deals that are done around Monaco is in the millions. The reason Monaco is still there is not because it's supposed to be a race, but parade for the rich. Exactly. And that's similar to Miami, and Miami has just been had an extension to 2041. Yes, 16 years. I will be 50 by the time this supposed contract extension ends. That's depressing. Spa to stay forever on the calendar. Well, it's going to be on a rotational basis, isn't it? Who do I hope to join Cadillac? I don't have any hopes of anyone to join Cadillac, to be honest with you. Just not the old staples. I think Perez would be a smart decision. I've said this before, because of the amount of money he brings and because he is also a good driver. Regardless of what happened at Red Bull, he knows his experience to be able to move that team forward and help develop the car, as well as bringing a shed load of cash. You joined slightly late, Dodal. You're confused. You're trying to rewatch the stream, but still not sure what happened. Rain is what happened. That's basically what happens. Excuse me, guys. The cat needs to get out of the room. The cat takes precedence. She'll just come and annoy me otherwise, and I don't want her to do that. But yeah, rain, basically. The track is a lot drier now. Looking at the safety car lapping right now around the circuit. And there is very minimal spray coming off of the safety car. The medical car right now. So, yes, it is. It looks like the track has dried considerably, or they have at least cleared a considerable amount of water from the track. And we should be able to get racing. Good, good. What is my take on the Kidia track coming in 3 or 4 years? I don't know. Seems very gimmicky to me. I need to review what the actual track map itself looks like, but yeah. So there will be a grid start. There will be a grid start, supposedly. Who do I want to win the sprint race? I would love to see Antonelli convert it. I really would. I think he deserves it. And there's a very high possibility he leads into turn 1 that he will, or if he leads at the end of the first lap, at least. So, yeah. Is there a chance of there being a female driver in the future? Potentially. We've discussed this on stream before. The problem is that the pool, the percentage of female drivers out there is small in motorsport anyway. And then when it comes to being quick enough for F1, that is even smaller. And there's already a limited amount of spaces on the grid. And at the moment, there isn't a female driver out there that is setting the lap times and doing the job that is necessary to make a push for F1. And that's the problem. Someone will eventually come through who is quick enough. They win races in F3, they win races in F2. Not that that's the be-all and end-all to make it into F1. And they will validly push for an F1 seat. But at the moment, there isn't a female driver out there that is doing enough. I mean, with respect to F1 Academy, has anyone watched the races in F1 Academy? The standard's pretty low. The standard's pretty low. So... But in the future, for sure, I think so. You think Antonelli will be too cautious and give up position to Piastri and Norris immediately? We'll see. Not long to find out, guys. 27 seconds until this sprint race gets underway. Well, until they make it way round to their starting position. Supposedly, it is going to be a formation lap, well, a sighting lap round to the grid spot, and then we will have a standing start. But will there be more rain in this race? We will see. Drivers are allowed to change their tyres, so will Carlos Sainz stay on that wet compound tyre? At the moment, the track is definitely not suitable for wet compound tyres, but if it does, if Williams think it's going to rain, it might be worth the gamble to stay on those wets, just look after them, and we will see. As the green light pit exit is open, let's get racing, guys. Let's get racing. Not long to go. Not long to go. Ooh. Anyone know why Leclerc is out? Look at the pinned message, Ben. You will see the pinned message of why Charles Leclerc is not in this race. But yes, we are going to be going. So is Carlos Sainz starting on the wets? I mean, I guess it's a gamble probably worth taking, to be honest with you, because he's down in 15th. If you're unfamiliar with how the sprint race works, of course, it is a reduced race distance. We've already lost a racing lap because of that formation lap under the safety car where we then got a red flag. But there are only 8 positions available on offer to score points. So for a lot of the drivers, there isn't an opportunity for them to score points. And Carlos Sainz there, confirmation, he has switched to the intermediate tyre. So that gamble of being on the wets, Williams have decided to take that not as an opportunity or as a viable option. So, yeah, Charles Leclerc, as you can see there, dropping to the back of the standings there as he is out of this race. But we are moments away from this race getting underway. Formation lap. We will run through your grid very shortly as this finally delayed Miami sprint race is going to get underway. Track temperature is 32.4 degrees, so it has warmed up slightly from when we first started this stream, around 3 degrees. We'll see if that increases any more. But Yuki Tsunoda making his way round there at the back. He is starting from the pit lane here. Of course, failed to set a lap time or a suitable lap time in SQ1, which is why he is starting from the pit lane, made some setup changes to his car. But for a lot of these drivers, it'll be about gathering data we are expecting potentially rain later on in qualifying and for the race tomorrow. So this is essential here for the teams and the drivers to keep it clean, not hit the barrier like Charles Leclerc did earlier on, and yeah, gather the data. So here we go, guys. Your grid for the Miami Grand Prix is Kimi Antonelli, the 18-year-old, on sprint pole in P1. Oscar Piastri is P2 with Lando Norris in P3. And are we gone racing? Are we racing? Are we racing or are we still going round? Surely the race hasn't started right now, has it? I think the race has the race begun? Excuse me, I'm a bit confused whether the race has actually got started right now or not. No, I don't think we have. What's happened here? I'm confused. What's happening right now? We can't be racing. We can't be racing. What's happening? Is it a second formation lap? No green lights. No, another formation lap. We're on another formation lap, guys. We're on another formation lap. Apologies. 2 formation laps, it seems. But the conditions are being reported to be better. Not entirely sure why the race has not got underway yet. Standing start. There we go. Confirmation that there is going to be a standing start at the end of this lap. So we'll have 17 laps of racing, guys. There we go. Thank you for finally confirmation there from the FIA. I mean, there is still quite a considerable amount of spray actually being displaced by the cars, what I can see on the TV images. But the drivers and the teams, the cars, will displace that water pretty quickly. Hang on. As Oscar Piastri is saying, the standing water has kind of gone. There's still a couple of rivers, but the spray is still pretty bad. But we're going to get racing nonetheless. So yes, potentially carnage at turn 1. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned for this race. It's going to be so sketchy. This first lap is going to be so sketchy. I have got a funny feeling that the grid order as it currently stands, which we will run through again, an attempt to run through any moment now, is not going to be as it currently is. But right, let's have a rundown of the grid finally, shall we? As we have a confirmation of a standing start. Let's do this again. Kimi Antonelli is on pole position. The 18-year-old Italian for the first time ever. He is starting P1. Oscar Piastri, who just missed out by less than half a tenth, is in P2. Lando Norris in P3 with Max Verstappen in P4. George Russell is starting in P5 with Lewis Hamilton promoted up into P6 because Charles Leclerc did crash out on that initial sighting lap. Albon upper position into P7. Hadjar is in P8. Alonso is in 9th. Hulkenberg is in 10th now. Nico Hulkenberg potentially on the cusp of scoring a point here today with only 8 positions on offer for a point available in the sprint race, which is a decision that I don't particularly like here. I think more points should be on offer for the sprint race because it makes a lot of these drivers' races pretty redundant. Esteban Ocon in P11. Gasly is starting in P12. Lawson in 13th. Carlos Sainz 14th. Stroll in 15th. Jack Doohan in 16th. Bortoletto in 17th. Ollie Behrman is in 18th. And Yuki Tsunoda is in 19th. With Charles Leclerc, as we confirmed, not starting this race. Yuki Tsunoda will be making his way through the pit lane, I believe, and still starting from the pit lane. And everyone is on the intermediate compound tyre at the moment. There is potential for rain to be on the way, so let's see whether or not it will arrive. But yes, everyone lining up here, moments away until this delayed sprint race gets underway. Apologies, we'll actually have 16 laps of racing here, so 3 less than what we initially were supposed to have here. It should be 19 laps where we have racing. Yuki Tsunoda is actually starting from the grid slot, so Yuki Tsunoda will not be starting from the pit lane. But here we go, guys. Here we go. Everyone's lined up. It seems to be a bit of a delayed start here. The lights, and it hasn't even informed me that lights are out, and away we go as they head down to the first corner. I think Antonelli is bogged down as they head down into turn 1, but Antonelli, late on the brakes there, has maintained his position into turn 1. Is there any carnage? And Piastri gets ahead as Antonelli loses 3 positions at the first corner, and he's down into P4 already as Piastri, your championship leader, leads after turn 1 with Norris into P2, Verstappen in P3, Antonelli down 3 positions there, and everyone else is as is, but Liam Lawson has made up 5 places at the start of this race. What has happened there to Liam Lawson? An unbelievable start from the New Zealander. He's ahead of his teammate Isaac Hadjar, who's in P10. Esteban Ocon's up a position as well as Lance Stroll. He's up 4 positions as Nico Hulkenberg is down 3 places as well. An unbelievable start to this race here. What has happened here? As Oscar Piastri has done exactly what he needed to, and he's in that clean air as Antonelli's being chased down by his teammate George Russell right now, as Antonelli did bog down at the start, and Antonelli got forced out by Oscar Piastri, and he had to bail out of the corner, and Piastri, I'm not sure if Piastri was ahead at the apex, I think he was. And Antonelli, unfortunately, lost three positions because of that poor start to Oscar Piastri. And I'm not entirely sure what happened with Liam Lawson further down the grid. I couldn't see the start, but poor racecraft there from Antonelli, which cost him 3 positions at the start as Oscar Piastri leads down into turn 17. Nearly a full lap completed here. He is in P1, Lando Norris P2, Verstappen P3, Antonelli P4 with George Russell in P5. And most of them are as they are, as Lawson is the biggest gainer at the moment, up 5 positions. Wow, what a start to this race. So Antonelli, his first experience in the pole position, and he unfortunately was not able to get a good getaway. But for McLaren, that is exactly what they wanted. 15 laps remaining here at this Miami GP circuit here. A reduced sprint race, and Piastri in that clean air, already pulling out a 1.7 second gap to his teammate Lando Norris. Max Verstappen is in the DRS zone, but there is no DRS activated at the moment due to the wet weather conditions that we have here. Spray is still a factor here. We are seeing drivers move out of the way to ensure that they have visibility into the braking zones. But Piastri leads from Lando Norris in P2, Verstappen P3, Russell is losing a bit of time there to Antonelli, it seems, as Hamilton is now finally pulling away from Alex Albon, as you can see. But Lawson, by the way, has the grip between his teeth and seems to be really confident at the start of this race. He really seems to have found some grip, Liam Lawson. He does like these conditions, removing what happened, of course, at Melbourne in the Red Bull, but the last wet race he had in this RB car was back in Brazil, where he had a tremendous result there. So Liam Lawson, still not sure why he's made 5 positions, and neither how Lance Stroll has made up 5 positions as well at the start of this race. But Alonso occupying that last point scoring position as it currently stands. No overtakes further down the grid at the current moment as they head down into turn 17, and without that DRS it's going to be pretty tricky to overtake, you suspect, down into turn 17. Tsunoda's made up 3 positions. Of course, one of those is due to the retirement of Charles Leclerc, but still yet to see an actual replay of this race start. Hulkenberg is the biggest loser at the moment as Carlos Sainz dispatches Esteban Ocon. Oh no, and Ocon regains the position. A bit of side-by-side action there between Sainz and Esteban Ocon. A bit of sport between those two down into turn 17, and Ocon is going to be defensive again as they head down into turn 1 as Sainz is late on the brakes there, thinking of a move on the Frenchman, and he's not able to get it done. Of course, they need to be careful here. Sainz 5 positions back from any sort of reasonable position, as Piastri is saying it's driving very quickly right now in relation to the track conditions. So maybe that might, the spray is still very, very evident out on circuit at the moment, guys, which is why there is no DRS that has been activated. And Liam Lawson has just lost a bit of time there to Fernando Alonso that last lap, which has allowed his teammate Nico Hulkenberg, it allowed his teammate Isaac Hadjar to close in on him, as it was actually Esteban Ocon who made the mistake there, slightly locking up as they went into turn 17, which is why Sainz was able to get alongside him, and Esteban Ocon just held on to the position. But incident involving Antonelli and Piastri is noted in turn 1, so not entirely need to see the replay. I'm not sure if Oscar Piastri was ahead at the apex. We will see. I need to see it back. The initial angle that I saw, Antonelli most definitely had to take avoiding action. So that is being investigated. Oscar Piastri, could he be awarded a penalty for not giving the position back? So I'm watching the race start as we are on the 6th lap of this sprint race. And let's have a look to see if Piastri was actually ahead at the apex as they went down into turn 1. He wasn't. Whoa. What happened there? So I think Piastri could be receiving a penalty here. Looking at the rule, I think he could be receiving a penalty. He was not ahead at the apex as they went into turn 1. They may deem, however, whether or not Kimi Antonelli potentially could have held his car on the track. That will be the question. And I think Piastri might be getting a penalty here. We will see. They need to really try and resolve this before the race ends. As I'm watching the onboards of this race start, ultimately it was a poor getaway from Kimi Antonelli, but he should have been afforded room. What has Ollie Behrman, the madman? Oh my goodness, Ollie Behrman just saw a closing gap and went sod it. YOLO. I do not care about my life. I'm going straight into it. And he somehow came out unscathed. Ollie Behrman, you absolute madman. As Verstappen has been noted for an out-of-position false start. Oh, dearie me. Max Verstappen, out of position, full start. What has he done there? We saw Lando Norris receive a 5-second time penalty for that as well, back in Bahrain, if you remember. So Max Verstappen out of position, most likely ahead of his pit box. And Max Verstappen could be receiving a 5-second time penalty as well. So Antonelli could still be on for a podium position here with potential penalties on the way. The stewards no doubt working frantically at this moment in time. I wonder if Lando snitched on Max. He may have done. He very well may have done. But he was starting ahead of Max Verstappen, so maybe it was someone else who did so. But we'll see a replay of that. But they said no further investigation for Oscar and Kimi into turn 1. Oh my goodness, no further investigation. Interesting. Well, I'd be interested to see what the ruling is there from the stewards and whether it is consistent to what we have seen thus far. It may be because they think it may be because they think that Kimi Antonelli could have kept it on the race circuit. I don't know. We will see. But Max Verstappen, no further investigation either for a false start out of position. Okay, that's interesting. Normally they don't even note that it was a false start out of position. So why? There we go. There's me talking up. Maybe we may be seeing penalties. We're getting none at all. So no penalties for either Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen for the start of this race. Still intrigued to see what the stewards' ruling is, though, in relation to that no further investigation. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But hopefully they'll clarify it down into turn 1. But yes, Kimi Antonelli, a poor start for him. 7 laps into this sprint race. We have 12 laps remaining. Oscar Piastri is your leader and currently going to extend his championship lead over his teammate Lando Norris, who is in P2. Max Verstappen in P3. Antonelli in P4. Poor getaway from him, which meant he was forced out of turn 1 and had to take avoiding action. And that is why he lost 3 positions at the start of this race. He is holding off his teammate at the moment, who is in P5. Lewis Hamilton in P6, not looking like he's got enough. So looking at the race start of Max Verstappen as why he wasn't. So Max Verstappen, I think, just has his wheels on the white line, or I think his wheels are just on the white line. As Crofty did mention, it looks like it's too far forward. But looking at the onboard camera shot, which is the only camera shot I have available and have seen thus far, it looks like Max Verstappen's wheels are just about touching the front edge of the grid box. So that was what, of course, Lando Norris's tyres failed to do in Bahrain. Very, very close there from Max Verstappen. Not what you normally want to do. You don't want to do it by that margin, but we'll see. We'll see afterwards, as Jack Doohan has track limits violation there for turn 11, as it is still slippery. But we're starting to see some gaps forming now, and you can see why the McLaren is so clearly such a quick car in clean air there. You can see, even in these wet weather conditions, where Max Verstappen is a absolute brilliant driver, but he is losing time to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris is just managing this gap right now. Not really probably worth it fighting his teammate at the moment, thinking more about the bigger picture, no doubt, for qualifying later on this afternoon / evening, wherever you are in the world, or even morning for some of you. And then, of course, the race tomorrow. We'll be live for that, for stay tuned, as Hamilton is coming under attack from Alex Albon, by the way. And I think Alex Albon here, who does have a potential of maybe making a move on the Ferrari driver of Lewis Hamilton. Of course, no DRS available in these wet weather conditions. And will Albon be brave enough for a move on Lewis Hamilton and gain an extra point? And no, he hasn't. It looks like Lewis Hamilton just has enough. And you could see there that even in clean air, I don't know if Alex Albon is consciously pulling out of the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton, but there was no gain, there was no advantage gained there from Alex Albon in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton. So I think Albon may be just... He's making the time up evidently through the corners and maybe pulling out the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton ahead is providing him more grip. But yes, Oscar Piastri leads from Lando Norris and Max Verstappen in P3. Looks like Russell is not going to be going on a particular charge on Antonelli. However, he is all over the rear of his car. Liam Lawson update has pulled away from Isaac Hadjar there after being up 5 positions at the race start, which I'm yet to still see an onboard of how he made those 5 positions up. Of course, we know it is a very tight turn 1 corner here, so maybe he just went around the inside of many drivers, and that is why he's up in P9. Lance Stroll also up 5 positions there in P11. Lawson, yes, going back to him, looking to close the gap down on Fernando Alonso. Whereas Verstappen is stating, my visor is just absolutely bleep. I have no visibility. I don't know if it's the conditions, so if the condensation or whatever, but Max Verstappen complaining about his visor right now. So that might be why Max is falling off from Lando Norris. He is just struggling with visibility out there, and that's not even necessarily to do with the spray being thrown off from the McLaren of Lando Norris. Well, let's see if George Russell is going to go for a move on his own teammate, the driver who put it on pole position yesterday, and no, it doesn't look like he's going to. Maybe that is team orders from Toto Wolff, and just making sure that there's no coming together of the 2 Mercedes drivers. That's the last thing that they will want, as Lewis Hamilton is under severe attack now from Alex Albon. 6 tenths back. Actually, no, apologies. I'm looking at the wrong interval time there, as that is actually Russell and Antonelli. And, well, George Russell all over the back of Antonelli right now. As Piastri is stating, driving, but the track is not as quick. So that's what he is being asked and being reported right now. Thank you, Lizard, by the way, for the 400 huff. I don't know, apologies, what currency that is. Norris got a penalty for this in Bahrain. It's insane. I'm still reserving judgment until I'm able to see a different camera angle. The only camera angle I saw was the onboard of Max Verstappen, where it's very difficult to kind of see where his tyres actually are, but it did look like his tyres were touching the front edge of the white line. It's like football, soccer, where all of the ball needs to be over the white line. It's the same with the tyres. I don't believe his tyres were all over the white line. That's technically allowed, but it's not what you want to do as an F1 driver, because visibility is like... Yeah, you just don't want to do it because there's a risk of a penalty. So I think looking at the only onboard angle I've looked at, hang on. Right now, Inter is still faster than Slick, but it's close. Is what Carlos Sainz is relaying. Are we going to see a slick tyre in this sprint race with 9 laps remaining? That'd be very bold. That'd be very bold. As Hamilton is under attack here, but yes, we need to see another camera angle of that starting position of Max Verstappen to see whether it was the right decision or not. Of course, the stewards do have more data available than we do, as Alex Albon is on a charge here. His DRS has now been enabled, so that backs up Carlos Sainz's claims that it is close to slicks. This track is drying out here, and well, we can see that Sainz is going for a move on Esteban Ocon now in that Williams down into turn 17, and he's finally got that move done, as Ollie Behrman also gets a move done on Pierre Gasly. Is that Pierre Gasly he's got a move done on there? He has indeed. Behrman also gets past Pierre Gasly, and he's up 5 positions as well. Wait until you see the race start of the way. Wait until you see the race start, by the way, of Ollie Behrman. Unbelievable balls on the guy. Here's Tsunoda's in the pits. Oh, this is brave. This is brave from Red Bull. Is Yuki the guinea pig here? With 8 laps remaining, is Yuki the guinea pig going on to the soft compound tyre? We will see. Let's see whether or not he's definitely coming out with another set of tyres, and surely it's mediums. Bold here from Yuki. Will anyone respond? Will anyone respond, as Piastri has had that gap closed down by Lando? He's now 1.6 seconds back, so Lando Norris is charging down Oscar Piastri here as we are potentially in this crossover phase of slick tyres. It's a very bold decision, as Antonelli's also reporting it's getting close to slicks. So yes, who's going to make that decision first? Who's going to give up that potential lap time? all eyes right now up and down the pit wall is on Yuki Tsunoda, on his sector times. Let's also do the same and keep an eye out on the Red Bull driver of Yuki as no one dives into the pit lane just yet, because why would you give up track position? Lewis Hamilton is being closed down by Alex Albon, as he has been for multiple laps now, and of course with DRS open he is most definitely vulnerable with 3 DRS zones here at the Miami circuit. But Yuki Tsunoda, let's keep an eye on him and see his sector times. That middle sector, that line will be, as Lewis Hamilton's in the pits. Ferrari, have you Ferrari'd? Or is this a bold decision from you? Regardless, it's a bold decision, as Lance Stroll's in the pits, as Carlos Sainz is in the pits as well. A few drivers making that decision. I can see why many are making this decision right now, as Oscar Piastri is losing time at heaps of time through the corners right now to his teammate Lando Norris, as that gap is now 1.1 seconds to his teammate Lando Norris, who was about 3 seconds back from Oscar Piastri not too long ago, is now 1.1 seconds back and close to the DRS of his teammate, as Lewis Hamilton's gone on to a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Aggressive from the Ferrari driver here, but Yuki Tsunoda, there's no purples in that middle sector just yet. 38.675 from him. It was a good lap time, but you can see there, that is already 1.5 seconds quicker in the middle sector than those up and down the grid on the intermediate tyres. You can see Piastri and Norris have just done a 39.4, so it's an easy second on fresh mediums, as Hamilton has easily dispatched Bortoleto there on the intermediate tyres. And Lewis Hamilton, you no doubt, is going to have is going to have a lot of clean air ahead of him, as Behrman is up into P10. Behrman's up into P10, of course. A lot of those positions are due to some pit stops, but he's got past his own teammate as Piastri and Norris stay out. Norris and Piastri have stayed out as there's 6 laps remaining. They do have enough of an advantage as it currently stands, but Norris is all over the rear wing of his teammate. He's 7 tenths back. He's 5 tenths back as there's a yellow as Carlos Sainz has gone off. Carlos Sainz has gone off through turn 14. He's gone off for the chicane. He was saying it's close for the slick tyres, and Carlos Sainz has got moving again. And thankfully, he is not going to bring out the safety car, it seems, as it is slippery, supposedly in turn 15. Have we more rain on the way right now? And those who have gone onto the slick compound tyres, it's a yellow in the pit lane. Why is it yellow in the pit lane? Is it starting to rain? Have these drivers who have gone onto the slick compound tyres massively mix this up right now, and have the McLarens and those who have started on the intermediate tyres absolutely ace this by staying on the tyres as Lando's going for a move on Piastri down into turn 11. The McLaren drivers are side by side and Piastri just holds on to the position. Pit lane entry is open at the moment. Oh my goodness, this is a crazy end to this sprint race, as Ollie Behrman, as you can see there, Yuki Tsunoda, a purple sector from him, 3 seconds quicker than that of Piastri and Norris. Oh my goodness, Verstappen and Antonelli have collided in the pit lane. Oh my goodness, the Red Bull team have released Verstappen into the path of Kimi Antonelli. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? As Sainz is pitting, purple first sector from Lance blooming Stroll as it currently stands. Let's keep an eye on what's happening right now though. Piastri is pitting. Piastri is pitting. He's onto the slick tyres. This will release Lando Norris, of course. There is, how much time have the McLarens lost? Well, they don't think they can really eke it out, losing 3 seconds a lap as it currently stands. George Russell is no doubt going to pit as well, or is he going to stay out there? No. So those on the intermediate tyres are staying. That's why there was a yellow in the pit lane, is because Verstappen was released into the path of Kimi Antonelli, and that no doubt will be a penalty coming Red Bull's way. And look at Lewis Hamilton, he's on a charge on those soft compound tyres. He has the grip between his teeth. How much damage does Max Verstappen have on that Red Bull car? I think the debris that I saw was primarily due to Kimi Antonelli, which is why he is back in the pit lane. Yes, that's a real shame for Kimi Antonelli, it seems, and maybe it might be, unfortunately, a retirement for Kimi Antonelli. No, he is getting going again, but at the moment, Lando Norris is your leader, as it is raining through the sector that Lando Norris is going into right now. Crazy times here. A crazy end to this sprint race here at the Miami Grand Prix, as Lando is on the intermediate compound tyres, but will he stay out there on the intermediates? We saw Carlos Sainz lose control through this very sector, this very couple of corners. It's raining at that end of the circuit, but the remainder of the track is dry. As you can see, Purple's being set as Max Verstappen is under attack from Lewis Hamilton on the soft compound tyre, and Lewis Hamilton is up into P3 ahead of Max Verstappen, who no doubt has some damage to that Red Bull car after being released and making contact with Kimi Antonelli, as Ollie Bearman goes fastest in the first sector right now. And well, Lewis Hamilton is going to be under attack from Max Verstappen though, the old rivals, as they head down into turn 17. The DRS will be open of Max Verstappen, as you can see there's a yellow. Alonso's off into turn 12, and could we be having a safety car here as Lando Norris is in the pit lane, and that's the exact area where Bearman lost it. We have a safety car. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what a crazy way. Hamilton holds off Max Verstappen, and well, this could be a safety car. I really hope not, but it could be a safety car to the end of this race. Lando Norris is in P1, and he has benefited from another safety car. You couldn't make it up. He won his first race here in Miami last year due to the benefit of a safety car. And well, he is potentially going to win the Miami sprint race, a chaotic Miami sprint race, also with the help of a safety car. Piastri would have got... And oh my goodness, Fernando Alonso is off. That's it. There's no way they're clearing Fernando Alonso's car. He is battered. The rear end of that car. There's a tyre... hugging the wheel, hugging the wall. Verstappen and Antonelli is under investigation, and Alonso says he's okay, but he's, as I mentioned, that area, the fake marina, well, there's fake water there, but it was getting its own dash of water with these slick tyres, and well, it was so treacherous there. And Fernando Alonso's car is a mess, and I do not see his car being removed and that debris cleared up within 4 laps. This race is going to end under the safety car. What a chaotic sprint race, guys. This is why I said we need rain here. Unbelievable. If you're enjoying this stream, by the way, hit that like and subscribe button. We're only at 600 likes, by the way. If you can continue to hit the like button and get over 1,000 likes, it'd be amazing. And of course, we're trying to hit 45,000 subs as well. But oh my good, right, let's take a breather and take stock. As Sainz retired, by the way, in all of that, I didn't even see that Carlos Sainz retired. He lost control of the car down into turn in that sector as well, after he just went onto slick compound tyres. Verstappen could still be receiving a penalty here, and with the bunch up of the safety cars, that could be very detrimental to his position and his point scoring here in the sprint race. Because if all the teams are bunched up and he gets a 5-second penalty or a 10-second penalty for that unsafe release, it's no fault of his own, then he will, of course, lose penalty. He's got a 10-second time penalty right on cue. Oh my goodness, this is going to lose Max Verstappen, and potentially he might not even score any points here. This race is going to end under the safety car, and well, Max Verstappen is going to end up, I think, outside of the points, because 10 seconds when you're bunched up behind the safety car is a considerable amount of time. No fault of his own, as I'm watching a replay of Carlos Sainz lose control of the car through the chicane, and that's why he retired. So yes, damage to Carlos Sainz's car, which is why he retired. So much has happened in this sprint race, guys. It was definitely worth the wait, that's for sure. But yes, not Max's fault, it's the pit crew's fault, but you are a team. You win as a team and you lose as a team. Unfortunately for Max, he is not going to score any points in this sprint race, while Lando is going to score maximum points. Piastri in P2. Hamilton is going to score points here in P3. And, well, Alex Albon is going to be finishing P4. Russell is going to move up a position. Kimi Antonelli is probably not going to score any points here. That's a real shame from him. As Max did say, guys, come on. As I'm watching the replay of that release, and Max just went... he went straight into Antonelli, and actually it was Max's front wing that took all the damage. As Antonelli, as Mercedes pit box is right... Oh my goodness, it's an absolute horror show from Red Bull. Kimi Antonelli was diving into the pit lane. He was going into his pit box, which is directly in front of Red Bull, and he had to take an... Oh my goodness, who was that? Was it Isaac Hadjar and Alonso? Alonso crashed, I think, due to Isaac Hadjar, or was it Lawson? Oh, Liam Lawson just yeeted Alonso into the barrier. Oh my goodness, Liam Lawson's going to be getting a penalty as well. As you can see, they're causing a collision. That's all on Liam Lawson, unfortunately. A good sprint race from him, but he's now, no doubt, going to be... Oh, has Alonso got the corner though? I don't know if he's got the corner, but we've got 3 laps remaining as it currently stands. But so right, let's keep this up. So I'm sorry, going back to the pit lane issue. Kimi Antonelli's pit box, the Mercedes pit box, is right in front of Red Bull's, and Kimi's trying to get into his pit box, and Max is coming out at the same time. Kimi, his right rear hits Max's front wing, which causes all the debris, and well, he had to miss his pit box and go back out and do another lap, so it completely screwed Kimi Antonelli's race here, unfortunately for him. So a 10-second time penalty for that unsafe release is reasonable, really, when you look at it, and especially how it's cost Kimi Antonelli any opportunity of scoring points here. Of course, he lost pole position, he lost the race win from the race start, but the race start is still a talking point in itself. I would like clarification from the drivers, from the stewards on that, as Kimi is saying, I don't even know what to say, as Bono is reiterating to him, Kimi, it's a mini race event. Don't worry. But yes, at the moment, Lando Norris is P1. He has benefited from another safety car at Miami, just as he did for his first race win last year. Of course, he'd love for it to be the same tomorrow as well. But that will close the gap to him and his championship rival, Oscar Piastri. Of course, only a single points difference between all the positions here in the top 8. So he will close the gap, but only by 1 point to Oscar, who is in P2. Hamilton pitted at the right time. He's up 4 positions into P3. As Hamilton says, great job on the pit stop, guys. Mega job. Verstappen in P4, who has that 10-second time penalty and will be dropping outside of the points, you do presume, because you look there at the interval. Well, there is 8 seconds at the moment to Lawson, and Verstappen, 5 seconds to Verstappen and Lawson at the moment. It's going to drop him well outside of the points. And then you got Albon, who's in P5, Russell in P6, Stroll is up 9. Stroll? Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I didn't see this in the chat. I am trying to just take stock of what's happened. Stroll is up 9 positions in P7. Gonna be up into P6 once Max takes his penalty. Sorry, what? What? Sorry? Stroll? The GOAT. Who needs to make it out of Q1, guys? Who needs to make it out of Q1, eh? As Behrman looks like he's going to score points here as well. As Yuki might... No, Yuki going to score points? No, he won't score points because he'll finish just outside. Oh, no, Yuki could still score points. Starting last. Yuki could still score points in a sprint race here because Lawson is no doubt probably going to get a penalty. And that will demote him out of the points. We know Max is going to be demoted out of the points. As, yes, confirmation, the safety car. This race will be finished under the safety car. As Antonelli is saying, what about Piastri, about turn 1? He just says, good to know. But we'll see. I still need an explanation for Piastri down into turn 1. It looked like Kimi was ahead at the apex around the outside. But yeah, we'll see. After all these years, Stroll decided now is the time to start cooking. I know. Lawson will get a penalty. Yeah, he yeeted Alonso into the corner. Yeah, I do F1 Fantasy League. Yep. Whew. I really believe you should be commentating on Sky. Thank you, Pat. I try. I mean, I hope this has been absolutely carnage right now. And I really hope that it's been easy enough to follow. I hope I've done a decent enough job to try and relay all the information that has been happening to you guys. Because it has been chaos. It's been absolute chaos. Yeah, Antonelli, unfortunately, has learned the hard way here. It's not just all about qualifying. But this is why we need a bit of rain at Miami. I said it on Thursday in our preview stream. We need rain at Miami to make it interesting. By God, have we got it. Max and his team are putting other drivers at risk. F1 ain't spectacular no more because this guy. I disagree. Look, that could happen. But yeah, it's a clear fault of the Red Bull pit crew. But yeah, I mean, there's so much. If there is a race to look at the highlights of, look at this. And I mean, I still think Ollie Bearman's, literally go and search on YouTube after this, Ollie Bearman's race start. I've never seen, that guy has huge cojones. Huge cojones, honestly. Massive ones, because, yeah, he is just absolutely, like, sent it down the middle. I don't know how he hasn't ended up with damage. But yeah, Max Verstappen, of course, trying to maximise the gap between him and Hamilton. He needs to be careful, and he's going to try and plant it to the floor. But yeah, it looks like Max Verstappen. Here we go. Max Verstappen's going to put his foot down to try and minimise the 10-second gap penalty. But with how tight it is, you can see there instantly. Good try, Max. He's finished. Max, with a 10-second time penalty, has finished 16th. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Lando Norris is your sprint race winner. A benefitor of a second safety car here at the Miami sprint race. Oscar Piastri losing out on that safety car as he was being gained on by Norris in those closing stages. It would have been interesting to see those two go at it, but because of the conditions, it removed a battle really out on track for the two McLaren drivers. But maybe a slight preview of what we may expect tomorrow. The McLaren's quite evidently the fastest car here at Miami. If you let those two go out in clean air, we will get those two fighting. Lewis Hamilton, a great strategy team. I can't believe I'm saying this, guys. A great strategy call by Ferrari. Yes, you're hearing that correctly. A great strategy call by Ferrari to put Hamilton on slicks and for him to finish P3. Claps in the chat, please, guys. Or W's in the chat for Ferrari. W Ferrari. It's not often it happens, but they did today. Albon up into P4. George Russell finished where he started. Lance Stroll, 10 positions in P6. Lance Stroll. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Ferrari. Have I been transported to a different universe? Have we been transported to a different universe? Something's not right here. Something's not right in the air. Ferrari have made a good strategy decision, and Lance Stroll's just gained 10 positions and is finished P6 in the sprint race after not making it out of Q1. I feel uneasy. Guys. I don't know about you. Liam Lawson in P, up 7 positions into P7. He's no doubt going to get a penalty for that yeeting of Fernando Alonso into the barriers, which brought out that late safety car, unfortunately, because it was looking to be a great showdown at the end. On many areas on the race circuit at turn 12. We can see that Bearman up 11 positions. Oh my goodness. And also, Bearman did a lot of that out on track. That was brilliant by Bearman. Tsunoda up into P9. Could still score points if Lawson gets that time penalty. It is being investigated. Pit lane incident involving Bearman and Hulkenberg will be investigated after the sprint unsafe release. Oh no, don't let Bearman's race be... Don't let Bearman's race be faulted here by a poor, unsafe pit release by the Haas team. Hopefully that's not the case. Tsunoda, great job by the team. First driver to go on the slick tyres, and what a decision it was by Red Bull. They made a great decision for Yuki, but a poor decision when it came to Max Verstappen. Antonelli in P10. We know what happened with him. Poor getaway, and of course, that pit lane collision with Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly up into P11. Hulkenberg lost a few positions in P12. Hadjar, a poor performance from him. Not entirely sure what happened at the race start for him. Ocon down 2 positions in P14. Bortoletto 15th. Doohan 16th. Verstappen, we've mentioned. And, oh no, Albon safety car procedure infringement. Oh, this could still not be the finishing standings here, guys. Lawson's under investigation. Bearman's under investigation. And Albon's under investigation. What is happening in this race? What is happening? Alonso, we know, got yeeted. Sainz lost control of the car through turn 15 and hit the barrier, which is why he retired. And Charles Leclerc didn't even start the race after crashing on the sighting lap round to his grid box. Oh my goodness, guys. Guys, if you could get this stream to 1,000 likes, it'd be much appreciated. We're at 900 likes, and we had over 7,000 of you here in this stream, We had 8,000 of you nearly. Go on. It'd be great if you can hit that subscribe button as well. And the... Albon will be investigated after the sprint. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. I mean, thankfully, we've got another stream later on. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and moments right here, guys. Let's have a look at the standings, shall we? Let's do that. Let's try and grab a breather. Oh my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Piastri. 7 points gains. So that gap has closed by a single point by Lando. I thought Lando was 10 points behind. Evidently not. He was 11 points behind. So before today, but Lando is 10 points behind Piastri now. Verstappen did not gain any points there. As you can see, 87 for him. He is still on. 2 points behind Lando Norris and Piastri. I'm still not sure that's correct. I thought Lando was... No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side. I'm looking at the left side, which was before. So, yes, 9 points difference now between Piastri and Norris. Verstappen is 10 points behind Norris now, it seems. Oh, wow! Gifted members, thank you. A crazy dude. It feels quite apt that your name is Crazy. What a crazy race it was to be doing that. Thank you very much. Hopefully that will those sounds will come up. But thank you. What happened to Max? Well, yeah, the team effed up. They released him into the pit box. They released him in the pit lane into the path of Kimi Antonelli, and Kimi Antonelli had to take avoiding action, clipped Verstappen's front wing, couldn't make his own pit stop, which cost him dearly in this race. And yeah, unfortunately, Max received a 10-second time penalty, and with the race finishing under the safety car, that is terrible for Max, because he finished down in 17th place or 16th place, well outside the points. So being a dad really does slow you down. He was doing all right, to be fair. To be fair, Max was doing a very decent job. He was in P3, didn't have the pace in the McLarens. He was complaining about visibility in his visor, which is the last thing you want when it's wet weather conditions. And he was looking comfortable for a P3 until his team decided otherwise. So, Max will go to Aston Martin for sure. Yeah, but the penalties are getting out of control. I mean, this is still not over and done with, but just running through the standings right now, Ollie Behrman has gained 2 positions there by gaining a single point. It could be more if Lawson receives a penalty, or it could be none at all, because Behrman is being investigated for an unsafe pit release. It'd be a real shame for him. Big thank you everyone for subscribing, by the way, and Crazy Dude, thank you for the 5 gifted, by the way. Who was fortunate enough to get gifted? It is random, by the way, guys, so do not feel aggrieved if you do not receive a membership. Mandela, King Nacho, Dark Mayo, Mike Contract, good to see you, Mike, and Leo K all received gifted. Welcome to the pit crew, guys, much appreciated, and thank you, Crazy, for that 5 gifted. And yeah, Crazy is very apt, because what a crazy sprint race it was. Stroll is up into, or still P10. He gains 3 points. Let's have a look. So the team standings, no changes in the team standings there as it currently stands. McLaren extend their championship lead. No change for Mercedes and Red Bull because, well, they technically finished outside the points. But we still have investigations for Alex Albon, safety car infringement. We have an investigation for Ollie Behrman, which is for that unsafe pit release. And we have an investigation for Liam Lawson as well. We have 3 drivers who finished in the points, but could still be not scoring points. Crazy. Antonelli could still score points today. Piastri got robbed. You could say that, yep. But look, the safety car is part of F1. Sometimes you're on the positive end of a safety car. Sometimes you're not. And that timing of that safety car could not have come at a better opportunity for Lando, because Oscar had to slow down for it. Oscar had to slow down once the safety car came out, and Lando was on his way out of the pits, so he got a cheap pit stop. That's he couldn't have predicted that. McLaren couldn't have predicted that. It was an on-track incident between Lawson and Alonso, and it was just fortunate timing for Lando. So I almost I don't know. I almost feel a bit aggrieved about the safety car coming out, to be honest with you, because I feel like with the slick tyres, with it being very tricky in the last in that turn 12 to the fake Marina section, turn 16, and with Nando closing down Piastri, I felt like we were getting some good battles on track forming, and finally going to get to see the two McLaren drivers go at it, but we kind of got that removed, didn't we? But I guess they went. The F1 gods, the racing gods went, okay, it's already been a crazy enough race. Let's just let you all calm down for the last 3-4 laps under the safety car. Over 1,000 likes, by the way, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you. I don't know how many subs we've had. I think we've had over 300 subs, 200 subs, something like that. So thank you guys. We'll be back. I mean, we've still got more to come. We've still got qualifying later on. Who knows what the weather condition is going to be like for qualifying later. Yeah, stay tuned for that. The live stream is already up and ready for that, by the way, guys. Should we put driver of the day for the sprint race or driver of the sprint race? Who's your driver of the sprint race? Let's have a look. Let's run a poll, shall we? Driver of the sprint race. We gotta go Behrman. We've gotta go Stroll. I've gotta go Stroll. I can't believe. Oh, it just doesn't feel right. But Stroll, I'm putting as driver of the sprint race, but I can't not do it. Hamilton. I mean, does Hamilton deserve it? Maybe Hamilton. Sonoda, I feel like deserves it, maybe. There you go. Get used to it, Stuffey. There we go. I'm intrigued to see who's going to win this one. I mean, it's close. I cannot believe I'm seeing this. It's close between Lewis Hamilton and Lance Stroll for driver of the sprint race. What world are we living in, ladies and gentlemen? What world are we living in? Credit where it's due. I mean, you credit where it's due. I mean, he's up 11. He's up 10 positions. Finishing under the safety car. It is Odysseus, but sometimes it happens. It has to be. There's no way where Alonso crashed. There's no way you can't have this race not finishing under the safety car. And I think we've seen before, I'm not a big fan of red flagging races and having standing starts 2 laps, 3 laps from the end, because we've seen that just be absolute carnage. And I think that's kind of like the NASCAR oval racing way of doing things. Sometimes, look, it was massively entertaining even up until like the last. I mean, it afforded us to gather our breath, catch our breath, and take stock of what actually happened in that race for it to finish under safety car conditions. It was the right way to do things. So, Albon driver of the day. Albon. I guess the only reason I haven't included Albon is because he lost a lot of ground to Lewis Hamilton. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm giving it to Behrman. I don't see how you can't not give it to Behrman, to be honest with you. I know only 15% of you are giving it to Behrman, and I'm a big Lewis Hamilton fan. You know that, guys. I mean, that's a canvas there of like his silhouette. But I think Behrman gaining 11 positions. Honestly, you need to find it. I'll see if I can find it on Twitter, and I'll post a link here for you guys. You need to see Ollie Behrman's race start. I have the balls of the guy. I've never seen anything like it. Where is his race start? Media. Behrman 2026. I think Behrman is probably the next driver for Ferrari. Yeah, I think that's who they are gearing towards. So, I mean, he made some. I'm looking at it. He made some good. This is the start. I found it. I can't show it on stream because, of course, copyright reasons. This is his race start. That link there is the tweet. Hopefully it's not locked for any of you. I cannot believe the guy decided to go into that gap. I cannot believe he decided to go into that gap. Have a look at it, guys. Let me know what you think. The Arsenal match is on, is it? Ollie equals YOLO. It's a proper YOLO. That is a move, with respect, that's a move you would never see Lewis Hamilton make right now. That is two different... That is exuberant youth. Or the exuberance of youth, that is, right there. Not knowing fear. Lewis Hamilton would not go for that move, by the way. Because he just has too much experience to know what potentially could happen. Ollie Behrman? YOLO. He could be like, damn, I can't see it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That move is 100% respect. Great move from Oliver. Yeah. If you haven't seen it again, guys, I'm just going to copy it again for you. Actually, I'll pin it. I'll pin the message. Replace pinned message. You can see the tweet there. That shows Ollie Behrman's move down into turn 1 in wet weather conditions. 9 out of 10 times he gets sandwiched. Oh, 100%. 100%. But what a race. What a sprint race, guys. I'm ending the poll. Hamilton gets 48% of your vote. I'm a big Hamilton fan. But I think Behrman has to get that. Stroll, 23% is close as well. I'm still... The reason I give it more to Behrman than Stroll is because I know Behrman made a lot of overtakes. I always rate that higher. Stroll, of course, did benefit from a strategy call, but I don't know how many overtakes he actually made out on circuit. So that's why, for me, it's Ollie Behrman. Let's do another one, and let's do... Here we go. Then we go from there, then we go, and then we go 9 to 10. There we go. Rate the sprint race for me, guys. Rate the sprint race. Still a strategy from Ferrari, making Leclerc crash of their engineers combined could get a P3. That's what they need to make good strategy calls. They need both sides of the garage to be focused on one car. See, that's how Ferrari do it. That's how they make good strategy calls. Like a wise person said, if they don't go for a gap, then they ain't a racing driver no more. The move from Ollie is a true F1 driver DNA. Yeah, ballsy for sure. So no penalty for Lawson's mega move on Alonso. I don't know. I'm yet to see if it is the case. So the only way Lawson might not get a penalty for his move on Alonso, the only way he might not get a penalty for it is if they deem it was his corner and he should have been afforded room throughout that corner, which looking from memory at first glance, it was close. It was close to being potentially Lawson's corner on the outside. If that is the case and they deem that Alonso forced Lawson out of room, off track, and it was a case of, well, where is Liam Lawson then going to be able to rejoin the track, then Alonso would be more deemed at fault for that, and because he's ended up out of the race, Lawson won't receive a penalty for it. That's the only reasoning I can think of. However, we will get clarification on that. I don't know with the racing rules now. Supposedly, it wasn't Antonelli's corner on the outside, down into turn 1, even though he was ahead at the apex. But then I heard Sky say that, well, as long as Piastri could ensure that he stayed within track limits, it's his corner still. I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I need to see it back again. But if I look at that, Piastri's on the inside and he's not lunged it, but I don't know. I really don't know with these racing rules now. Why is F1 so bloody confusing? F1 shouldn't be this confusing with racing. That's the problem. So, if it wasn't for a safety car, it would have been a 10 out of 10. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Oh, I don't know. You can't give that a 10 out of 10, to be honest with you. Some of you are harsh, guys. Some of you are harsh. Can't see Bearman's race start. You can't see it. Can you not? They might have removed it. I don't know. It may have been removed. Maybe the person's removed it. The tweet at the top is I mean, I don't know, unless it's locked. It shouldn't be region locked because it's just someone retweeting it. But that tweet it's still showing a link for me to his race start. So, and then Kimi Antonelli, I mean, there should be highlights up already. So this is the unsafe release for Kimi Antonelli, by the way. Sorry, for Max Verstappen on Kimi Antonelli. There you go. Oh, hang on. So they're talking Kimi Antonelli. So Anthony Davison is reviewing the incident at the start. So they're stating the overtaker is Piastri down into turn 1. Okay, so that's it. So yeah, so I'll remove that one and I'll put this one as pinned. So basically, Oscar Piastri, the rules have changed where for you to be deemed on the inside, for it to be your corner and to be ahead at the, technically you don't have to be ahead at the apex anymore. You need a significant portion of your car alongside theirs, which is deemed to be your front wheels alongside the the rear view mirrors of the car you're overtaking. So so effectively, while Piastri wasn't fully ahead at the apex, he was significantly alongside Kimi Antonelli into turn 1. Which is why it is his corner and which is why he is able to run Kimi Antonelli out of room on the outside. Exactly what happened in Saudi, except Piastri was more significantly alongside than he was Kimi this time around. So that's why it's changed. That's where my interpretation is wrong. But it's only a slight variance in the interpretation. It just means that the driver on the inside, it just gives them a bit more wriggle room, that they don't have to properly roll off the brakes to have their tyres or their nose fully ahead into the apex, which is what it used to be. Now it's significantly alongside, which is front wheels to the mirrors of the car ahead. So that's why that has that alteration. That's why Piastri was able to hold onto that position. So I still don't like it all. I still don't know why, like, you can't just leave the driver room, you know. So what's the difference between these races and the race tomorrow? Just a sprint race. It was shorter. That's all. It was shorter. Red Bull definitely saw Kimi coming, but for sure thought Max was going to get out faster than him, causing a contact. Yeah, I don't think... Look, Red Bull were very good with their pit stops. However, what I will say, though, there, Julia, is that Red Bull, who I have praised massively as an all-round operation, like that, I think arguably over the last few years they have been the best all-round team in any sports. They have been faultless. They've never made a mistake, but they're now starting to make mistakes, aren't they? They're now starting to make a lot of mistakes in their pit stops. Max is starting to have some slower pit stops. Today is something that you would never have seen from Red Bull before. The pressure when they're trying to make up that crucial time, they're now making those silly mistakes that you never saw from them over the previous years. What happened to Piastri, though? Lando just started catching up quickly. I don't know, Akano, to be honest with you. Yeah, that hasn't been referenced yet, but Piastri was evidently... Maybe he killed his tyres. Maybe he killed his intermediate tyres, or he had a few more wobbles. But Norris definitely had a lot more grip available to him in the closing stages. So, thank you, Jeppa. Much appreciated. Do the guy can literally be ahead on the outside and still get forced off? Yeah, basically, Taco. Yeah. V8 Supercars Andy used to have the same rule, and it resulted in some of the most diabolical sends you'll ever see in your life. Well, that's kind of what we get. This rule still promotes sending it. It still promotes you rolling off the brakes, doesn't it? You've just moved the goalpost slightly. That's literally all you've done. You've just moved the goalpost slightly. So the mistake started when Horner got horny. That's a fair point. It is a fair point. That's when the team started to unravel and you started to see key personnel leave the team. So, why didn't Max get a penalty for the start like Lando? So, I'm still yet to see another image of it. I haven't seen a replay of it, but the only image I've seen of Max is the onboard of his start position, which is very difficult to tell. But looking at it, it looks like he's touching... His wheels are still in contact with the front edge of the grid box. So it's the finest of margins. He's very much risking it. He no doubt wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere near that close to his front of his grid box. It's like football, soccer, where the whole ball needs to be over the line. If there's still a bit touching the line, it's not a goal. And that's basically how I'm interpreting it from the start box. It obviously flagged up that he was ahead. They've got signals and sensors and stuff that will flag up if someone is ahead of their grid box. So no doubt it flagged up, but they've probably seen some TV images that refute that and show that he's just touching. So Brits really do love the rain. We have to deal with it a lot. Too much of it. This sprint was horrible for fantasy. I need to check my fantasy team. What happened to Leclerc? Yeah, he crashed out on the outlap. Not even the outlap, making it round to his grid box before the formation lap even began. He crashed. So Sky have posted the last 7 minutes of chaos on YouTube. Have they? I can't show that on here, unfortunately. If I show that, I'll get done for copyright. But I will go and review that for sure. I will go and review that. That was just, that was absolutely crazy, wasn't it? Why Antonelli in 10th? Oh, what? Why Antonelli in 10th? Poor start, lost 3 positions at the start, and then he ended up, when he was coming in to make his pit stop onto slicks, Max Verstappen was released into his path. He had to miss his pit box because Mercedes pit box is directly next to Red Bull's. So because of that, Kimi Antonelli had to take avoiding action. He still clipped Verstappen, no fault of his own, and he had to do another lap. So he lost so much time by doing an unnecessary... He basically took an unforced drive-through penalty, and then he had to take another pit stop. So Kimi showed a lot of maturity in his interview. Impressive on it. I haven't heard it, but he was very mature on the radio as well, Crolido, from what I heard. So very, very, very mature. What happened to rookie Alonso? He got yeeted into the barriers. 35% of you are saying this was a 7 out of 8, 9 out of 10, 30% of you, 5 out of 6, 16%. I think personally that was a 10 out of 10. My expectations for sprint races are very low, and I think that had a lot of drama. Of course, the weather played a lot into it, but I think we had overtakes out there. We had bold moves, something that hopefully we get in the race tomorrow. I think we need it. So hopefully rain arrives tomorrow, guys. Max finishing outside the point since 2016. Really? Oh my goodness. That is some run of form, isn't it, for Max Verstappen? No penalty for Lawson. Has that been confirmed? No penalty. If that is the case and he hasn't received a penalty, then I understand that. Just trying to find it. Oh, hang on. No, sorry. Did Lando overtake Piastri in the last corner? I think he overtook him in the last corner. So that was really essential there. I need to go back on my own stream and see if Lando actually overtook him. Did he? Before he pitted? Did he do that? I'm not sure he did. No, he didn't. No, Piastri was ahead. Yeah, I thought that. He definitely had a lot of pace at the end, though, didn't he? So I'm trying to see Alonso. if Alonso got that, if Lawson got that penalty. So Lawson said with Alonso, I tried to get out of it because he pushed me so far off. They're claiming it was a racing incident. Not seen anything yet. So this is the incident. If you want to see it, guys, I will grab it up for you. Again, another pinned tweet so you can actually see what happens. The reason why I'm saying this, why I can see this not being a penalty for for Lawson, is it's the pinned message, by the way, guys. The reason why I see this is because is that you don't see the actual moment of where they head into the apex. But Liam Lawson was the overtaking car, and I don't know if he was supposed to be afforded room on the outside. So that will be potential. They may deem that, well, Lawson was forced off of the track, and he wasn't. Because of that, he had nowhere else to rejoin. So I can see on face value why it looks like it should be a penalty for Lawson, but I can see why also it might not be. Because if Alonso is deemed to be, basically he's deemed to give room to Lawson on the outside, then he should be given that room, and Lawson then has nowhere else to regain. Yeah, I don't know how this. I mean, I still haven't seen anything about the steward's ruling on it. I'm just trying to see if there is anything. I still can't find anything on it. I'll see. Chris Medland is always a good guy to check. No, I can't see anything yet. So, Hamilton deserves better than he's getting with naysayers. I mean, look, Hamilton is evidently struggling with that car. That's not a controversial thing to say. But yeah, he dug in and found some confidence in that car today. And with a great strategy call, I know, a great strategy call by Ferrari, he ended up finishing P3. So good decision for him. What happens to the penalties now? They're still investigating, Redica. We don't know yet. So, was it Lewis who called for softs, Busy? Ah, good call by him. So no penalty for Piastri, even though Kimi had the apex. So Kimi didn't have the apex. This is what we've confirmed. So there's been slight variations now to the... I'm going to change scene, guys. So there's been slight changes to the driver guidelines for this year in relation to the head of the apex rule. So it's not... So technically, you don't have to have a part of your car fully ahead of the other driver on the inside to be ahead at the apex. What they've done to try and reduce sends and rolling off the brake, they've just moved the goalposts that the driver on the inside can force the driver on the outside out of room, and it's deemed to be their corner if your front wheels are alongside the rearview mirrors of an F1 car. So just ahead of the cockpit, basically, like that's considered to be sufficiently alongside. And that means that the driver on the inside can force that driver out of room. And that's what Piastri had. So I thought, as per the old racing guidelines, that yes, Kimi Antonelli was ahead at the apex, but supposedly he wasn't. So that's why Piastri wasn't penalised, and he was able to force Antonelli out of racing room there. So, Mr. Race, could someone give me a quick recap? Oh my goodness, can we even do a quick recap of this race? Should we try? There's still a lot that I need to figure out what happened, particularly at the race start. with drivers. So let's try. I'm going to try a good. Oh, F1 sprint race Parc Fermé work may commence at sorry, half one. It says there. So basically, it started before the race even started. Charles Leclerc on his lap round to his grid spot, he crashed in wet weather conditions. Due to that, the rain was we had a formation lap. The visibility was too much. Was too poor, and they ended up basically postponing the race start. In the end, we eventually got, after a postponement of about half an hour, we got a race start, and, well, Kimi Antonelli lost that position after a poor getaway, and Piastri forced him out wide. He lost 3 places at the start. Some drivers made up multiple positions in like the first corner. I'm still yet to see Liam Lawson's start, which he gained like 5 positions on the first lap. Ollie Behrman's start, we saw balls, massive cojones from him. And then as the race progressed, the track started to dry out. DRS was activated, and very quickly we started to see drivers go onto the slicks, mediums or softs. Some drivers made the decision early: Tsunoda, Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, and some of them made up number of positions. Hamilton overtook Verstappen out on track, but only once Verstappen made a collision with Kimi Antonelli in the pit lane, receiving a 10-second time penalty, which demoted him outside of the points. Kimi Antonelli, who was already having a poor race because of that race start, took basically a drive-through penalty because he couldn't get into his pit box because Verstappen was in his way. Ended up finishing outside of the points. But Carlos Sainz crashed because it then started to rain in the fake Marina section, which was turns 11 to 16. Sainz lost control of his car, had to retire. And then later on in the race... Then we saw, in this changeover period, we saw Lando Norris close down on Oscar Piastri and really putting on the pressure. Piastri pitted, gave Lando Norris some free air. Lando Norris came into pit the next lap. And as he was in the pit lane, and Oscar Piastri was making his way round the last corner, Liam Lawson crashed with Fernando Alonso, yeeting him into the barriers and brought out the safety car, which gave Lando Norris a cheap pit stop because Piastri has to slow down under safety car conditions, and Norris gained P1. And we then have some post-race. So Lando Norris wins with Piastri in P2. Hamilton overtakes Verstappen out on track because Verstappen's got front wing damage from that pit lane collision with Antonelli. And then at the end of the race, Verstappen's received a 10-second time penalty under safety car conditions, which means he's demoted basically to dead last of the runners. Doesn't score a point for the first time since 2016. And Albon finishes in P4, but is being investigated still for a safety car infringement. We have Liam Lawson still supposedly being investigated for that incident with Fernando Alonso, still trying to get confirmation if he's been relieved of that or not. And we also have Ollie Behrman, who finished in the points as well, being investigated for an unsafe pit release. So who knows what the final standings of this race is still. I think that's a good enough job. Did I do a good job there, guys? Is that a good job? I tried. There's still 1,000 of you in this stream, so I hope that was a good summary of what happened in this race. Kimi was doing good till Red Bull blocked him. He was going to score... He was going to do fairly decent, yeah. It wasn't going to be... He was on for potentially top 3, actually, yeah, until that happens, so... Someone needs to remove MBS. These rule changes are ridiculous. These rules are so unfair and bad. Yeah, it's not very good, is it? It's not very good for him. So I'm still trying to find something from... Oh, hang on. What's... The driver and team representative of Fernando Alonso are required to report to the stewards at 2 o'clock in relation to the incident below. Alleged breach of Article Appendix L. So, are they deeming... So this is this, guys, by the way. I'll bring this up for you. I normally end the stream way earlier than this, but it's such a chaotic race. Don't need to start lights again. So this is what's come from the stewards. So that deems to me that they want to know potentially why Fernando Alonso didn't leave enough room. I think. I don't know why they would need him to be in attendance, because they can clearly just, he'd probably just go, well, yeah, I thought I was ahead at the Apex or whatever. But yeah, I think that's them basically. That might be why Liam Lawson's got off of one there, maybe. Let's have a look if they've got anything else. Alex Albon, alleged breach of Article 55.7 of the FA. So yeah, this is still going to go on. This is within the next hour. This is going to happen. So I'm going to be ending the stream by then. Liam Lawson is also required to report to the stewards. So they're calling both drivers to the stewards on the hour. So another 15 minutes or so. So yeah, that's not over and done with yet, guys. Definitely need to watch the replay. Yeah, go watch the replay. I'll be trimming this down as well, this stream, I think. I think it needs a highlight package in itself. A big thank you, guys. 41,500 subscribers. Thank you for everyone who has tuned in. By the way, live stream for the quali is up and ready to go. Let me link it for you guys so you can go head over there, hit the like button, and wait for quali. We, of course, will have some news, no doubt, in relation to these penalties that we can discuss. I'll go live a little bit earlier than I normally do, so that we can discuss even further what happened. And I'll listen to... I'm only allowed to end the stream when everything is finalised at FIA. Oh, that could be... I need to eat, Simon. I need to eat dinner unless I eat on stream. I also want to go and listen to what the drivers have to say and some of the teams, so I can get a bit more of an overview of what happens in that race and report back to you guys. So yeah. Can Charles still participate in qualifying? Yeah, he can participate in qualifying. It's just this official session. It's just this session that he couldn't participate in. So, yeah, that was why he couldn't participate. But yeah, that's the live stream there, guys, for the watch along later on, which is what time's that start? I don't even know when I'm starting. 15 minutes before. I'll try and go live at 8:30. I'll try and go live at 8:30. 8, guys. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully I did a decent enough job in relaying the information that came out of that race, because it was difficult to keep up to date with it all. Many of you tuned in and seem to be sticking around for it, so hopefully it seems to be I did. So yeah, thank you as always. If you still haven't hit that like button, please do. Token of your appreciation. And of course we have commentary later on where I don't know what the weather forecast is for Miami this afternoon. Let me just double check. Someone just post there. My phone is blowing up right now as well with my group chats and stuff. Let me see. No, nothing major. Nothing major. Sorry, I'm trying to see the weather. Sorry, let's see what the weather is for Miami. Miami forecast. Let's have a look. So, it looks like this afternoon there's not going to be any rain. So we could get. We're going to have probably a dry weather this afternoon, but tomorrow is still forecast to be rain. So no more rain for today. No, so it'll be dry. And we'll see a mix-up in quali again, by the way, guys. We will see mix-up in quali again. As basically, as we mentioned with the sprint race, the reason why you saw maybe a bit of a mix-up in the order is that teams are able to run their cars lower because you run less fuel in the sprint race. So the base ride height of the sprint quali is a lot lower than what you would do when you have the main race quali, because you're having to set that ride height at a height that is suitable for 100 kilograms of fuel to go into the car for race day. So yeah, P1 won't even matter today. Matter because of the incident today for Kimi. Update us later with the FIA shenanigans. I will do, guys. I'm going to go and get some well-needed sustenance, some food. I might need a drink after that stream as well. I wasn't going to have a beer tonight, but I think I might need one after that. So yes, join us in a couple of hours, guys. What time did I say? 115 minutes. So just under 2 hours until we go live. Probably a little bit earlier than that. I'll try and go live a little bit earlier so we can discuss all that has come out of the FIA's rulings and so forth. There'll be an updated, no doubt, finishing position. Is there something new from the FIA? No, nothing at the moment. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in a few hours, guys. Thanks as always. Bye.